talking to the people from Marpole, the councillor, and yourself. Homelessness is horrible. We have to end it. But how do we end it? You guys have great ideas, but all of a sudden now you're going to pluck these people out of the only little bit of community that they have, and one is the downtown east side, where they get a special banking at Pigeon Park Savings, where their doctors will see them because they're complex care, where their average appointment is 45 minutes, maybe 4 or 5 times a week. They have access to methadone. I phoned around, there's not one drugstore in the Marpole area that are willing to do methadone. So you're going to take these people from the only, as god-awful as it is, place in life, and take them away, throw them out here in Marpole, and expect it to work. It's not going to work. The safety concern is very true. Community builders, that's the one who's going to manage this, if I'm correct. They manage what's called the Metson on House Street, 1060 House Street. Used to be the Bosman Hotel. There's a lot of news articles where paramedics won't enter the building without a police escort. There's a psychiatrist who stopped going because it was too dangerous and he feared for his life. And that is for low barrier people. So when you say that their concerns are nothing, there are concerns. A city-owned building known as Central Residence, with 24-hour staffing, so does the Metson, they found the guy upstairs with his hands and feet nailed to the floor because he didn't pay his drug debt. And that's a city-owned building with 24-hour security. Not all people are bad, but they all have issues. I have issues. That's why you end up on the street. And like I said, you may only have 1 or 2 friends. They're living on the downtown east side, and you want to take them away and put them here and think that, oh, we did a wonderful thing, we gave them a home. You did, but within a month or 2 months, they're going to go back to their friends, where they feel comfortable, where they have the services. In the downtown east side, for you guys for Hygenie, they can go to First United, the 44 Club, the Gathering Place, I forget how many places, and get a shower anytime they want. They can take their clothes to the Gathering Place or the 44 Club, hand them in by 10 in the morning, they're wash folded, they take them home. They're not going to have those services out here. They're not going to have their buddies that they can get their free meal at the 44 Club. And we have to look at that. Like I said, as horrible as it is, at least they have a bit of community. And so to spread them all over Vancouver, it's going to fail. And not one person here has said, well, we sat down and we spent 3 hours with some of the homeless people to see what they want. It's really nice that you guys research the Canada, or the charter, that we all have rights and we have rights to homes. It's nice you research that, but you didn't waste your time and sit down on the downtown east side for 4 hours talking to people. There used to be a lady by the name of Brenda who lived in the Portland Hotel Society, who would lay out in front of the Army and Navy on her side, going, can I get a cigarette? Will you buy me a cup of coffee? That's all she wanted. But at the time, nobody took her and got her into a place where they would give her cigarettes and her cup of coffee and her dignity back. So homelessness is it's there, but the trouble is, we have what's called poverty pimps, and they work in the housing industry, in supportive housing and that. And it's a big problem. I've lived in city buildings. If you're broke, you can go steal from Safeways, a couple states, and I will give you the list of city buildings, and you can go and sell those $18 steaks for $2 each to staff who work, and you take the money and get drugs. The city, the guy just retired, finally. He was so basically mentally and physically ill. He's the worker, one of the 24-hour support workers. Probably once a week he'd have to go home from work because he would mess himself, or he'd go for coffee and his mind was gone. He had Alzheimer's, but he was still employed. He'd go for lunch and forget to come back, and then he'd come to work on his day off. So a lot of the people who work in these homeless buildings, they're worse than the drug dealers on the street. And they work for like...
There's 1 more minute left.
Okay. The thing is, I would gladly, you guys have all were born with silver spoons in your mouth. Like, for what your mom and dad paid for you to go to school in 1 year, 4 people like myself on or 3 people like myself on disability is what it would, that's what we get. 3 of us live on what it takes for you to go to school. I would love to set up a tour for you guys, and we'll go walk through the medicine, where, like you said, there's 24-hour security, but a paramedic won't go in without a police escort. I'll walk you and show you the different buildings, and ask friends that I know that live there to take you and show you inside the buildings, because I think it's really important. And the thing is talking to the people here on this side of the room from Marpole, they want people to have a bed. They really do. They've treated me well with respect. We've talked. But the thing is across from an elementary school the best place for that? And I think that that's what we have to look at. And we have to also not look at what is politically best for the city, but we have to sit down. And there should be 4 or 5 or 6 people who are currently living on the street in the room here. You know, it may take a meal and a warm cup of coffee to get them to come out, but that's who should be at the table, talking about what they need, so everybody can say what these homeless people really need. You know, because it's a horrible life, because really, a lot of the housing you go into, you're dealing with some pretty sketchy characters, and they're running the buildings. And just some history, and I know I'm going over one thing, is look at the DERA, the Downtown Eastside Residents Association, or Portland Hotel Society. DERA was stealing money hand over fist, and the government finally shut them down because they hadn't paid taxes. They were pocketing money. Portland Hotel Society, very big. They were going on trips to Europe. They were having limousines driving around Vancouver. And that's money earmarked for the homeless. And I know that you want me to shut up, so I will. But this is a very passionate thing for me. And I guess what I'm trying to get across is, you know, in order for you guys to really know what's going on, don't quote the Canadian Charter of Rights. It's nice to know that. But quote the lady laying in front of Army and Navy asking for the cup of coffee and the cigarette. Because that's where, you know, shit hits the fan. That's the downtown east side. And those are the people you need to talk to. That's my 2 bits.
Thank you so much, sir, for your passionate speech. You'll definitely get more chance in the later discussion section to share your story. So I was thinking.
So after hearing what you just said, if moving some of the homeless population to Marpole can be considered such a devastating thing from what you said, what should the government be focusing on instead to help the homeless people?
Well, I think the thing is put in homes that work. Number one, like these modulars are beautiful, but they don't have an oven. They have a stovetop, and they have a bar fridge, but it doesn't even have a freezer. So like now, I'm in a place where I have a full-size fridge, and you know what? I can buy enough food on sale, hamburger, pork chops, chicken. I can freeze it. But when you can't freeze anything, you're hooped. So when, you know, like the city, I think, please, in each one of them, a full-size fridge. It means a difference between eating and not eating in a lot of cases. And I think the thing is you have to look at proximity. Like, a lot of these people are on basic welfare. So they don't qualify for a bus pass. Only people on disability get a bus pass. So they're gonna have to pay $2.80 to go downtown to try to get a free meal. It's nice Thursday nights they could get a meal at the church, but that's only 1 out of 7 suppers. So all their services are down there. It's either you gotta take a lot of those services and bring them closer, or just look at, should we maybe try to put these places a little bit closer to the downtown east side so it's a 10-minute bus ride. They can get back and forth, or they can walk. But we have to kind of look at it that way. And then the thing is I think what would be ideal is there's no program to monitor the people right now. There's nothing. Even the city, they still write out receipts in a receipt book, and each one has their own ledgers. They still use ledgers to record rent. They don't even do it on the computer. But there should be something where they can monitor and they can say, hey, this guy here, we've had him in our system for 5 years. He's never caused a problem. He's a good tenant. We're building a brand new place in Marpole. He's one that we could put up there. He's self-sufficient. He works a little bit. He's good. And you take the best. It's like you guys did with the modular building down in Terminal. You went to all the city buildings, took their best clients, put them there because it was the premier shop. But just monitor and talk to people at Atera and the Portland and that and say, hey, we're doing this 100-unit place, but we need 5 people to go out there that do their own cooking. They don't depend on going out for meals. They don't depend on a lot of these services. Medically, they're stable. Mentally, they're stable. And you put those people in there, it'll open up a bed in the downtown east side. And it just kind of make it like a stepping program and doing that. But it takes a coordination. It takes somebody. And this city's got, since 2005 when I was homeless, you've hired 35 new communication staff. Well, one of them could just be maybe tasked with getting all these different homeless programs and coordinating them, getting a database going, keeping track. I think that would be a great thing. And then, oh geez, yeah, you're really good. We'll move you from the Granville residence out to this new building, and we know you're not going to trash it. And then all of a sudden, you've relieved the people of Marpole because, hey, the people that you're putting there have a track record. They're not going to be the ones throwing their needles as they walk by. Not that everyone would that's going to be living there. But and then you take away a lot of the anxiety from the people in the neighborhood. And then maybe all of a sudden, instead of the fighting and the worrying, these people would say, hey, we're doing a community barbecue at the school on Saturday afternoon. Let's invite the people from the building because, hey, they're good people. And you know what? That's a win then for that community. But taking a bunch of people right now from the downtown east side, putting them out in Marpole, within 3 months, I'll bet you dollars to donuts, 80% are back down on the downtown east side. Because you're taking them away from everything. And most of them, the reason they're on the street is like the counselor said, it's mental health issues as well as addiction issues. It's not just one, they have both. So it's really complex, And even the dentists, I phoned around here. There's not one dentist in the Marpole area that accepts people or accepts welfare rates for dental work. So these people, even though you move them here, if they need a tooth pulled, they have to go to the downtown east side because, the Portland Dental Clinic and, Native Health, they all have these services. So, you're taking the neediest people away from their services to say, here's a better life for you. And it's got disaster written all over it. I know the city's not maybe really happy to hear that, but like we used to say on the farm where I grew up, that's where the bear shits in the butt brush.
Thank you so much, Murray. So this question